Hello everybody and welcome to our webinar today. We will just wait 1 or 2 more minutes for everybody to come into the webinar and then we will start today's session. Okay, so I think we can get today's session slowly started now. Welcome to our webinar, HERE SDK Navigate Edition, bring a full set of navigation features to your application. We are very happy to have you all participate in today's webinar. I'm Jessica Hablovitz, Marketing Manager at NBI, and I will be your moderator for this session. Joining us today is our long-standing partner, HERE Technologies. Thank you to the HERE team for your collaboration and especially to Rajesh for making this webinar possible with your expertise on the HERE SDKs. After a short introduction, we will learn how to utilize the new HERE SDK 4.x. Rajesh Badhragiri, who is the product manager at HERE Technologies, will provide an overview of the new HERE SDKs with a focus on the new HERE SDK Navigate Edition and explore new and improved features as well as how the new location services can supply a better user experience. In addition, the capabilities for transport logistics as well as the possibilities for the implementation of your own data will be showcased today. At the end of the session, we will also facilitate a Q&A session where our expert Rajesh will answer any arising questions. The webinar will be kicked off by Karina Ziegelmüller, Global Partner Manager at NBI. For those of you who don't know Karina yet, Karina was with HERE Technologies for about 12 years before she came to NBI. There she was responsible for building up the partner ecosystem in Europe and APAC, focusing on solution partners through various industries. In addition, we are very happy to have Rajesh Badhragiri from HERE Technologies sharing his knowledge in today's webinar. Rajesh is co-creating a two-wheeler experience for unleashing the mobility excellence using HERE location intelligence. He has worked with Hyundai, Ford, and Airbus and has 16 years of overall experience in product management and consulting across the automotive and aerospace industry. Before we start, I would like to provide you with some information on housekeeping. Firstly, you've all been muted to avoid background noise during the presentation. During this session, we will have some polls and would like to kindly ask you for your participation. If any questions arise during the presentation, please use the questions pane to send them to us. We will answer them in the Q&A session at the end of the webinar. If there's not enough time to answer all your questions, we will get back to you via email. Last but not least, a copy of the slides as well as the recording of today's webinar will be shared with you later on in a follow-up email. So enough talking from my side. Karina, please go ahead with the introduction to today's webinar.
Thank you, Jessica, and also from my side, a warm welcome to everyone. We are very excited about today's webinar, and a huge thank you to you, Rajesh, because we know he's a very busy guy and he's very demanded. So we really appreciate his time and the possibility that he's doing a personal introduction into the HERE Navigate SDK. We already had some webinars in the past with HERE, and I think this one was very interesting as well, especially for those who are still using the HERE Premium SDK, so stay tuned. We have all our other webinars, which we've done in the past on our YouTube channel. So we will share the link later, and you can watch all the other routing and fleet logistics webinars later. It's great that we have some patrons attending, but I see we also have a few new names today. So let me give you a little introduction on who we are. So MBI has been founded in 2009 and we are based in Karlsruhe. Since then, we have expanded our offering by acquiring Microbauer Micromarketing in Düsseldorf and Konias Risk Intelligence in Heidelberg, where we also open our academy with lectures about global political risk data. With our portfolio, we support not only SRIN precisely, but also many smaller partners active around the globe. And MBI and HERE were partners for over a decade before we became one of the first global HERE distributors back in 2020. So when we move on to the next slide, you see a quick overview about our huge portfolio, which covers products like global boundaries and market data for spatial analytics and expansion planning, global mobile trace data, which allows us to serve new use cases on consumer densities and purchasing journeys, but also on finding new concepts in the area of mobility and especially urban mobility. So everyone stay tuned. Tomorrow starts the European Mobility Week. So we will share some posts in the upcoming days on LinkedIn with interesting stories. Moving on with political risk data, we offer unique data which gives you insights into the political resilience of countries and regions to manage a sustainable supply chain. And being a HERE distributor is a perfect fit to our portfolio, offering HERE location services, HERE data and traffic for various use cases and industries. And we do have a dedicated area on our website when you check it out under www.mbi-geodata.com. You will also find a huge range of use cases from our partners who have allowed us to share their story and experience with us, but also using the HERE product. So please take your time and screen through the website later, and maybe you will find the right solution for your software. And we are very happy to support you and guide you through that. But having said that, I would like to hand over to Rajesh and give him the time to present the new SDK. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Karina, for the introduction. Rajesh, I'm handing over to you now.
Thanks, Jessica. Thanks, Karina. I hope the participants are able to view the screen. Okay, so yeah, I'm Rajesh Badhragiri, and thanks for the wonderful introduction. So I'm the lead PM at HERE Technologies for the SDK. So I've been with HERE Technologies since 8 years now, and I have worked across different domains like traffic and then sensor data collector to app making. And I have now recently, or I should say like in the last 4.5 years, I've been associated with the HERE SDK. So I've worked both on the premium SDK as well as the next generation 4.x series of SDKs. I would like to make this more eventful, so I would like to start the session with a poll. So I might have to ask help from Jessica to start the poll here.
Yes, sure. I will launch the first poll question for you now. So please go ahead and put in your answer. We would like to know, how do you use the HERE Mobile SDK and what is the target industry for your solution? Is it in the transport and logistics sector, including truck navigation? Is it in the motorcycle or two-wheeler navigation? Or is it in car navigation, including emergency response or car sharing? Or is it something completely different? So please take some time and put in your answers now. Okay, I see a lot of votes coming in. We will wait a couple more seconds so everybody has the chance to put their vote in. Okay, I think we have nearly everybody now, so I will close the poll and also share the results with you. So 60% actually said transport and logistics and 40% car navigation. So I think that's quite even.
Yeah, wonderful. Probably we have colleagues probably joining at a later point in time who might be looking at the motorcycle and others as well, but that looks pretty heartening for us, and we have a solution for that. Yeah. So at HERE, we see that location is a complementary feature with almost all the industry domains, and we have, as you can see in the slide, across the domains like transportation and logistics, media, retail, public sector, technology, telco, and automotive. So we see that customers are today evenly distributed across these sectors, and slightly higher in both automotive and transportation and logistics. You could see that we have a small scooter icon to represent the motorcycle in both transportation and logistics and automotive, and that is to indicate that we have an offering for the motorcycle navigation in both transportation and logistics, where if you look at the global coverage, which is somewhere in Southeast Asia, South Asia, two-wheelers are mostly used for transportation and also as a taxi. While if you look at the automotive, which is more predominant in Europe and Asia, where you have the OEMs coming for an in-vehicle infotainment similar to the cars, where they want a dash or a smart system, which is going to communicate to the end user the turn-by-turn instructions or any of the advanced safety alerts within a blink of an eye, because when you are riding a two-wheeler, you are not supposed to, be distracted, unlike when you are in a car. So overall, you can see we are, spread across the major domains today the industry is moving towards. Okay, let's start with what a HERE SDK is for the people who are new to HERE SDK. So HERE SDK is a tool set which will help you to build an application through the enablers and the APIs that we are offering. And as you can see on the right side, we have approximately 23 million monthly active users, and we have 500 new developers, joining the big developer community. So we will look more into the details about the different variants that we are offering in our next generation of SDK. One highlight that I would like to bring here is that we are also supporting the Flutter, which is beneficial for some of the engineering teams, where you can develop once on the Flutter and then release your application for both iOS as well as Android. So for now, we are already available on Flutter, and we are production ready there, on top of the native Android and native iOS delivery channels. So we bundle all the basic location service components like routing, search, the rendering or map visualization together through the SDK APIs, which enables the application to call for these APIs and realize the location-specific functionalities. So that is a brief introduction about the HERE SDK. So as I told, we would also look into the HERE SDK variants, right? So we have 3 variants for now. We are thinking about adding more variants based on the modularization concepts that we are working, which you will see more towards the second half of 2023. So the first one, as you can see on top of the channel, is the 4.x Explore. You will always see that Flutter, which is to indicate that we are supporting native Android, native iOS, and Flutter. So the Explore edition of our SDK is for the mobile companion application, which is for map viewing predominantly. What it means is that you would be able to view the route, you would be able to search, you would be able to pan and zoom, but everything is online only. So there is no navigation possibility with this edition of SDK. Also, there is no offline capability and no advanced alerts or warnings possible. So I would then focus to the bottom right edition, which is the 4.x Lite, which is for Android only. We are not supporting iOS. We have deprecated that, and we are deprecating it in October, and that is because we are not upgrading our iOS Lite edition for the metal renderer. And we should be aware of the fact that the light edition is mostly suited for the hardware specification, which is on same lines as the Kindle Fire tablets. So that is mostly for the low end or low spec devices. Okay, now coming to the edition which is in focus, which is the 4.x Navigate. So the Navigate edition is the superset of our SDK, which has the online offline capabilities, which has the advanced navigation functionalities, which has the advanced driver alerts and warner systems. Example, a traffic sign warner or a stop sign warner. And it also is the superset that we have. As I said, we will look into the details of the features that we have from all these editions in the next slides. Before that, we will go into the value proposition and how are we addressing some of the critical requirements or use cases that the market is trying to address. So you see the first part here is all about the intelligent routing and navigation for cars, trucks, pedestrians, and two-wheelers. Yeah, we have comprehensive dynamic warning engines, which is talking about the speed limits or the cameras or the school zones or traffic ahead or hazardous situation. Yeah. So what this means is the routing algorithm would help the application to choose when there is heavy traffic in the route that was originally planned. So you would have to call to our navigation listener component, which will provide you with the next set of dynamic routes, which will try to avoid the existing traffic information, traffic situation, and then take you to your destination in better ETA or earlier. Yeah. So that is about the first column there. The second column is all about the seamless experience, whether you are online or offline. And this is where the offline capability of the Navigate SDK comes into picture. Thinking about driving in the middle of nowhere in Alps or driving somewhere in southern Germany in the woods, you might not have the network coverage. Sometimes you might have zero coverage and you're out of the internet. But this doesn't harm your navigation experience. Say, for example, next day morning after the rest in the camping site, if you would like to, start the navigation or search for a place, our offline search comes into picture and our offline routing, offline navigation capabilities kick in, and it allows you to get out of the internet coverage area. So the prerequisite here is that you will be downloading the area or the region upfront. The next aspect is all about transport optimization. So this is where we have the toll cost calculation, or predominantly, where we are targeting the transportation and logistics. Of course, we are also supporting automotive here, but it is predominantly for the transportation and logistics for OEMs as well as for the delivery service customers. So route import is an important functionality that we have received as a feedback through MBI from all the customers, where you have more than 100 or 150 waypoints where you then plan the route upfront and then import the route, where you can pass this imported route through our SDK to get the turn-by-turn instructions. So that is the way it works. And we have the waypoint sequencing for the most optimized route. And of course, we have the charge-aware routing, which is the most important when you are thinking about electric vehicles in automotive, as well as in the transportation and logistics. As you see, it by 2027 and 2028, we are going to have more and more trucks, driving through the electrical charge. So the last column where we address the industry needs is all about the map customization. So the easy map customization for a high degree of product differentiation. Yeah. So what we have is we already have predefined map schemes. We allow certain customizations like changing the map object color or size or width or length according to your need and depending on certain attributes. So when you would like to know more about the specific customization possibilities, please get in touch with your MBI contact who could help you to get the answers for this. And we also have a web-based style editor for the customers who are using, for the partners who are using premium SDK. You would know that in the earlier SDK version, we had what we call as a MW config file, where you need to know all the attributes upfront to make the change and pass this config file to get the desired customization. While the latest style editor allows you through the web UI to pick and choose the color or the concepts that you would like to customize. So what does that mean to you is that the cumbersome process from Premium SDK is now no more there, whereas in Navigate SDK, the style editor component is going to play a major advantage for you, where you would be able to get what you see, but there is a condition supply. The style editor is an upcoming and a new product. Not all the customization is possible today. So if you would like to know more about what possibilities are there through the style editor, please get in touch with your MBI contact through which you would be able to get more information. And if needed, we would be also happy to arrange for another webinar dedicated to this to give more information and provide.
Thank you, Rajesh. So for everyone who's attending today, my contact details will be shared at the end again. And if you want to evaluate or have questions on a certain functionalities which will not cover it or you miss out later, just give me an email. But we will cover a few things now. And as said, just reach out if you have any additional questions anytime. Thanks, Rajesh.
Thanks. So regarding the product facts, so what you saw earlier was, at a high level about the monthly users, monthly active users that we have. So here you can see, the SDK usage, which we call it as Q2 2020, which has gone, multiple times now. This one is the latest information that we have, which is 51 billion and counting transactions. We have 20 million SDK installations and 33,000 new developers were added from then. So that is the compounded information that we have. So you can see the growth that we have already and the reach that we have had already within the 2 years. So let's see the detailed product variants. We just saw a high level introduction about the variants there. So the 4.x Lite edition, as I said, it is for a low end hardware specification. So we have three major components there: bundled maps, which is where you see the satellite imagery, traffic vector tiles, and routing component. You can see the online vehicle routing. So what the routing here means is not the navigation. Please be informed that routing here means the route overview that you get from point A to point B. So please be aware of the terminology. So when we say navigation, that is when we refer to the turn-by-turn instructions. And of course, the geocoding and search, where you will be able to search for a place, the category search, online reverse and normal geocoding. It is available. So the Explorer edition is slightly different than the Lite edition because it can accommodate a better hardware device, and it also is a bit higher in the size of the package size. That's what I mean. So the Explorer edition, as I said, is mostly for online usage only, for a mobile companion application, be it for T&L or be it for automotive, where you would be able to provide the user an application which will help the user to find where the truck or car was parked and give a route overview from the current location to the car, etc. So these are some of the examples that we have commonly come across or being requested as use cases. So again, we have three major components. We have maps, routing, and geocoding and search. So what is in addition from Lite is you can see the camera and map item animation. And in the maps component, for routing, it is pretty much the same. And geocoding and search, it is also pretty much the same. The only difference here is that the Lite edition is not supported in iOS, and it is only for low-end hardware specification devices, and it does not have customization. Whereas 4.x Explorer SDK comes with possibilities for customization. Again, for further details, let's dwell deep post this session about the possibilities, where you will be able to get the details through the MBI developer documentation, and also we have links for our HERE developer documentation. So let's get into the actual business now after 10 minutes. So the key features here about the 4.x SDK navigation. So you can see the number of components has increased, and that is why we call it as a superset of our SDK offering. We have maps, we have routing, we have geocoding and search. We have to the left side, you see the navigation, and this is where we talk about the turn-by-turn instructions. We have the alerts, which is the advanced driver assistance system, or not. Please do not consider this as ADAS, ADAS. It is the probable look ahead, path warners, and alerts. And then you can see the positioning component as well. So when we talk about the different,
I have a quick question for you, because for some, I know we have a lot of techie people in the webinar today, but I'm not so much. But what I would be curious, because it's so much and we have such a huge set of features. I mean, I'm totally amazed. So does the customer have to implement that all, or can they pick and choose what they actually want to leverage and then have a really kind of customized solution, or is that everything I need to load onto my app?
Okay, so today SDK through the APIs and through the different components offers these functionalities. The application can pick and choose what they want, and it depends on their business logic, it depends on their business, it depends on their the use case or the market needs what they are addressing. For example,
I really
we have
can adjust it and really customize it. Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So when you say customize, it is about what they pick and choose as a use case. So there are two levels of customization. One is the ability to pick and choose the features that they want to implement. The second is the ability to change the look and feel. So the ability to have the customization to change the look and feel, we have it covered in a separate section, not in this call. So that's where we have the style editor. We would provide the needed links, which can then be looked into, because we will not be able to cover all of them in today's session.
Yeah.
So within the first part of the customization comes that's a good question. Thanks for that, because I would like to bring in the part of modularization. We have had customers who have requested for, we don't need a rendering component. We would like to go headless. So headless is kind of an unofficial variant where the customer does not need a map viewing at all, so no map rendering, but they would need the turn-by-turn instructions and the offline capability, where they would use the voice instructions, the voice guidance or the voice instructions to indicate the turn-by-turn instructions to their users. They have a simple UI where they ask for the destination, they ask for the starting position, and everything is calculated. There is no map UI. So our SDK, the Navigate SDK, is today such a modular stack that you would be able to remove the map rendering component and still continue to implement. So this is possible today. That's one such example.
So I'd say this is a huge advantage compared to the premium SDK, right? Because yeah, it's just so more liquid. It's a new fancy word, right?
Yes, thanks for that. And I would take the opportunity to also inform this team here, the audience here, that by end of 2023, we would also have more possibilities for modularization. We are reviewing based on the feedback from the field, from the market, from the customer. So we would like to hear more from you. So if you have any request on the modularization, please provide that input to MBI so that we would get the consolidated feedback from you. Say, for example, hey, we would today need only a search only SDK. We don't need other components. So a search only SDK means the package size is lesser. You will be removing the non-search components from the SDK. So that is a fair request. Yeah. So please bring on these requests, because your feedback would help us to build our roadmap for 2023 and prioritize accordingly. So the more the hits, the more higher the priority is from the market. What indication we get is that it's mostly needed, and more customers are requesting this across the globe. So getting back to the navigation component here, before I go to the offline. So you can see here that we have the lane assistance and signposts and junction views. So these are the advanced guidance features, or the features that is going to help the customers to have a visual cue about a signpost and help them to exit in a particular complex junction. So there might be 6 lanes, and then 2 lanes already exiting to the right and 2 other lanes exiting to the right but still going straight, but it goes out of the highway. So in such cases, these junction views come in handy, because the customer then understands, meaning your end user then clearly understands that, hey, there are 6 lanes. I need to be on the 3rd and 4th lane because I'm not taking the extreme right, because the extreme right already goes out to a different direction. But the lane 3 and 4 helps me to go to the destination. So I don't have to recalculate and then go for a longer route. So that is the key importance. Again, the list of features what we have picked and presented in the slide is not the exhaustive list. We have additional features, and that is why we encourage you to visit the links that we have shared towards the end of this slide to understand and start using them. We have provided extensive examples, code snippets, and we are available in GitLab. We are available through Slack channel, where you can connect with HERE and as well as MBI to provide your input and also ask your questions. So that is with navigations. When we go into the alerts, you can see that we have a speed limit warner, camera warner, and truck restriction warner. So this is what we have already available. Soon you will be getting stop sign warner. You will be getting the school zone warners. Soon you will be getting environment zone warners. You will be getting sharp curve warners. All these are coming in 2023. So the idea of this warner functionality is the safety for the end user. So for example, for a driver, when there is a sharp curve, you might be needing to alert them because they might have to reduce the speed. Of course, you have the signboards, but from the user perspective, when you send an alert through the voice instruction that there is a sharp curve ahead, etc., you are indicating and providing a benefit to the end user and taking care of the safety of the end user when there is a sharp curve. And we also have as I speak, we are delivering with the release coming today, the traffic sign warner as well, which is going to provide you the list of traffic signs, where the application has to subscribe for these traffic signs, so that whenever there is a traffic sign like traffic lights ahead, you have them, you will be able to relay that information back to your end user, meaning the application here has to subscribe for a particular warner from SDK. SDK will not push, rather the application has to pull this information. And this is to ensure that we are not annoying the end customer by always pushing all the warnings. Yeah, so that is another, if you think that it is a customization, yes, we provide so we give the opportunity for the customers to decide, meaning the application users to choose what they want. Now coming to the offline, interesting functionality that we would be delivering in Q4 is the incremental map updates, which means you don't need to always download the full size of the map. Say, for example, if you have downloaded Germany in Q3, when you are going to have this feature during Christmas, when you integrate the latest version of the SDK, what you would be able to do is, you need not download the entire region of Germany again. Rather, what was changed from Q3 until Q4, you will only download that part of it. So which means you are reducing the data footprint, which means, like, for most of the customers, you have this challenge because the data consumption or the enterprise data plans are a bit higher. So that is where we are directly addressing that issue with our Navigate SDK. This was already there also in Premium SDK, so I should not be claiming that this is first available here. We also had this functionality in Premium SDK, but we are bringing this as a part of feature parity here during Q4. So I move to the next slide, where we have had already an extensive detailed input about Navigate Edition. So I'm also happy to have more questions on these topics during the Q&A session. So at this point in time, I would like to ask another help from Jessica, that we would like to go into the next poll before we talk about upgradation to the Navigate edition of SDK. Yeah.
Yes, so I will launch the second poll question for you now. And
Thanks,
you would like to know, after learning about the different HERE SDKs, which HERE Mobile SDK you are currently using for your solution. So are you using the HERE Premium SDK 3.x, or are you using the HERE SDK Navigate Edition 4.x? Or do you not use any HERE SDK at this moment? So please put in your response now.
And while you guys are actually choosing the one or the other or none, so what I would be interested in, and you can put it into the feedback lane or in the Q&A section or in the chat. If you're not using any HERE SDK, I would like to know what other SDK you probably use, because there are so many out in the market. But yeah, and you can send it in a private line or in the private chat. It would be good to understand, and yeah, for our later discussion probably. So if you don't mind, and if you choose none, we would be appreciating your feedback.
Okay, thanks everybody for putting in your votes. I will close the poll now and share the results with you. So 50% are actually already using the HERE SDK Navigate Edition 4.x, 25% the Premium SDK 3.x, and 25% none of those two. So yeah, as Karina mentioned, it would be interesting for us to know if you use something else. Yeah, put it in the chat, please. And I will give back over to Rajesh now.
Thanks, thanks, Jessica, for that. Yeah, wonderful. So there is a mixed bag here. So this section will address all the three. So for people who chose none, you will understand why you will have to choose HERE SDK already in the previous slides. For people who are using Navigate SDK already, then you will get to know further information about what additional inputs or insights that you might get. For the 25%, you have exactly the reasons that you need to, or you should be upgrading yourself to the 4.x. Yeah. So just for a small recap here, so we had an earlier announcement that we are going to end of life for Premium SDK, or sunset the Premium SDK December 2022. Based on the request that we have received from MBI and from the other partners, we are extending this to 30th of June 2023, which would give you 6 additional months to complete the upgradation. So for the 25% of the customers, this is good news, but yeah, please continue the momentum to complete the upgrade. While we speak about the rest of the world, we also have Premium SDK in South Korea, and the end of life for South Korea is still not decided. So we will continue the Premium SDK offering in South Korea until further notice, without any disruption there. And that is because we are currently working with our partners in South Korea to bring the whole location services live by next year. So what does that mean? So for Premium SDK users is that we will not have any feature enhancements, it's only maintenance. So if you have any questions related to the Premium SDK, feel free to get in touch with Karina, or yeah, now that you know me, you can also get in touch, but please do copy Karina from MBI to be sure that we have all the communication well channeled. Okay, so this slide precisely explains you why you should upgrade, what advantages you have. So we have chosen the most important feature categories, starting with connectivity mode. Premium SDK was more offline centric, while online was still available, while the Navigate SDK is online centric and offline as a fallback. Why is this shift? What has changed? With 5G advancement, and most of the end customers, or the voice of the customers from the market says, we would like to have connected ride experience. So that means you should be always online, or mostly online. That's the reason why we are going online and we are less on the offline part. Customization, we discussed about it. It's much easier in Navigate SDK with the web-based style editor tool versus the cumbersome MW config file. The architecture also, I indicated that it's more modular than the premium SDK, where you could remove the complete components, and we are also going to extend this. So as it is a live product, we would be addressing your requirements through the roadmap features, and we would have a constant update of the SDK with new features. And with the platform, one change that we have here is for iOS, we are only supporting the Swift. There is no Objective-C support. So that is one important aspect that you need to take into account while you are upgrading to Navigate SDK. Now, the most important and heartening news is that the update cycle of the map and the software is much, much higher. We are currently in bi-weekly software cycle versus the quarterly software cycle with Premium SDK, which means like we deliver every 2 weeks versus every 12 weeks. So it's 6 times more faster software updates that you're getting. And from the monthly update of the map, we are now we are already in the weekly map updates. And by 2024, we are targeting for a daily map update, which means you're going to get fresher map much earlier than what you were experiencing in the Premium SDK world.
And Rajesh, this is me again chiming in, but for those who probably have that not in their mind, is that when you use Premium SDK 3 and you're using the latest APIs, you might have discovered that the data behind is not always the same. So because the Premium SDK might be not updated as frequent as the services. So in future, you won't have that issue anymore because the SDK 4 and the backend services you're using is one. So it is the same. And when the services are updated, the SDK is updated. So you won't have any discrepancies in there anymore, which is correct, excellent. Yeah. Huge improvement, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Karina. So you completed the part of the statements that I had. So the last one is the authentication. So you don't need to worry about the license key expiration anymore, because with the Navigate SDK, it's one-time token-based authentication, and you go. So you don't need to worry about the contract expiry, and then so I need to now update the application and push the latest application just because I have to update the license key. Yeah, good. So that is the that is it with reference to the comparison. And before I move to the last part of the migration, the process, this is the readiness of SDK per market. So rest of the world, Japan, China, and South Korea. So we are also going in China now. Japan is a new market for us. We are live already there. So if you have any applications that you want to go global, you have it. So here is the best fit for that. China, we will be able to experience beta quality end of 2023, and South Korea, you will get an alpha quality during 2023. So that is about the SDK readiness. Before going to the last section, I would like to get a poll run from Jessica. So Jessica, I would like to have your help again.
Yes, I will launch the last poll question for you now. So it would be interesting for us to know, as a developer, what do you need? Is it comprehensive details regarding the upgrade to the next Gen S? Is it examples and code snippets to the key APIs? Or is it structured chapters about the upgrade options? Or maybe it's all of the above or none of the above. So we would really appreciate it if you could take some time to put in your answer or your answers. No.
And same here, if none of the above is what you require, but it's something else, we appreciate it if you just can send it to us, and we will forward that to Rajesh.
Okay, I see your votes coming in. I will give you 5 more seconds if you haven't put in your answer yet. Okay, thank you very much for your participation. I'll close the poll now and share the results. So as you can see, for most people, 33% it's examples and code snippets to the key APIs, and 22% each are interested in comprehensive details and structured chapters. Yeah, but also some people chose all of the above, and some people as well none of the above. So it would be interesting to know more about that. And with that, I give back to you, Rajesh.
Thanks. Wonderful to know that. So 78% of the people are already having the need for a structured information in the upgrade guide, and also about the code snippets and examples. Yeah, good. But I'm also curious for the none of the above. So is there any other option that we missed here than the all of the above?
I've actually got already an answer.
Yeah,
we got already a very good answer, which says they need more sweets and cake. Apparently, we cannot deliver that. We would love to do it, and we all need a bit more sweets in our lives. But thanks for the feedback.
Yeah. So yeah, the picture is self-explanatory here. So, but the link that you see below is important. So that is where you have the information as we explained, or in the more structured way. What we have done in the past is, or always we are doing, is like we are taking the feedback through the MBI team, where we update our migration guide based on the feedback that we receive, what needs to be added, what needs to be adapted, what needs to be improved. Yeah, so we continue to do that. So with that note, I'm now open for the questions. So we have.
Thank you very much, Rajesh, for all your insights. I will quickly share my screen again. Just give me a second.
We do have actually, I think this one I have as well is about the Flutter 3. Are there any news about supporting Flutter 3, Rajesh?
Yes, we are planning for this Flutter 3 support during Q4 2022. So the precise delivery date would be beginning of November. So we have a release coming during the beginning of November, and that would be the release which will have the latest version of the Flutter.
Perfect. So we can inform our partners once it's finalized by HERE. Looking forward to that.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody, for sending in your questions. I already can see that some of you sent some suggestions for improvement. That's really nice as well, and I will compile all of that and send it to Rajesh. So thank you very much. That's really appreciated. And just a quick note on the Q&A slide, you can see now you also have the contact details for Karina. So you can contact her at any time if you have any further questions or would like to do an evaluation, so feel free to do that. And now we can move on to your questions. So another question that came in was, does the style editor also support the styling of icons, objects, which are positioned on the map?
No, not yet. So we have a workaround to support on that front, but we are working on this in our roadmap during the 2023. So if you're talking only about styling, is like the question that I understand is you want to provide a company-based icon, which is not part of our standard data set. So that is not coming out of the box with Style Editor, but we have a workaround to address that solution until it is there in our product.
Yeah. Maybe we also compile it into the feature request and then move it for and send it as a compact list to you, Rajesh, and then you can also evaluate with your team internally. But I think we do have one more question regarding offline usage, Jessica.
Yes, yeah. There's another question, and it is, do I have to download a whole country to use it offline? Does it affect my data IO limit?
So you don't need to download the entire country. It depends on where you are at this point. So if you are in Berlin, for example, and you are not a traveler who is always going out of the Berlin-Brandenburg area, you can download only the Berlin-Brandenburg area instead of entire Germany. So by default, we offer the entire country, and also we break it down into the states. And this is applicable for all the countries that we have. And what we have as a part of our 2023 roadmap is that you will be able to, or the application will have the ability to define the bounding box for your download, which might be what we are thinking in the solution design phase is that you will be combining the two regions. So for example, Berlin and Saxony. So if you want to download that, you will be able to download those two regions, but not the entire two regions, but only a bounding box in that region. So this is the requirement that we are, or feature that we are working towards, and we are in the solution design phase for this. We would soon put this into our roadmap once the solution design is clear. As I said, so if you have more suggestions and if you have a precise request, please do push this towards MBI so that we get the expectation clear, right? So then we can build this feature in iterations. So now coming back to the IO question, IO part of the question. So when you are completely offline, you don't have any data or service that is hitting the online backend. So there is no overage there when you are in full offline mode.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Rajesh. And I think that we covered all the questions. Now I saw that a few requests for additional features came in as well, but I think as far as questions go,
we have a voice support. So what they are questioning here is if there is voice support for Lithuanian in HERE SDK 4.
Okay, so we have to understand the primary difference, what we have deprecated from Premium SDK to Navigate SDK. So we do not have this pre-recorded voices. What we have is the text-to-speech, and we recommend it could be either the Android standard TTS or the iOS standard TTS. If it is not the case, we have seen our partners and customers use both Nuance or Cerence. So if you, I can answer that question. So I'm, as I speak, I'm looking into the voice coverage. We have a dedicated link in our developer documentation, which explains the list of voice support that we have for TTS. And yeah, so let me quickly look into that and give you a live. I don't know if I'm allowed to share my screen now. I can just show you, and I can also do a virtual guide here.
Yes, no worries. I will give back to you, Rajesh, and then you can share your screen again. You should be able to share it now. Okay, so let me know if you're able to view the screen. Okay, so let me know. Yeah, okay, good. So here, this is, I'm just as an example, the HERE SDK for iOS Navigate Edition, right? Let me just quickly go here. The products, when you go to the developer.here.com, please go to products. And then when you go to products, you will have the option to select the HERE SDK. Once you select HERE SDK, it goes to the landing page for, I'm just telling this for all the people who are new. So then you have iOS, Android, and Flutter. I'm just going to view the iOS. And for the Navigate Edition, I'm just selecting in iOS tab, the Navigate Edition. And then start, just put Control F and do the voice. So then you will have the voice guidance, yeah? When you select this voice guidance, just scroll down. You have the code snippets and you have all the references here, right? Supported language for voice guidance is where you will find the answer for. So I heard Lithuanian, so I do not see that here. So Lithuania is coverage for safety cameras, so don't get wrong. So yes, we don't have the coverage for Lithuanian at this point in time. So feel free to push that as a requirement towards Karina, and then we would get this input from her.
We collect it. Rajesh, I have a personal question for you. So what's your personal favorite or highlight with the new SDK?
Okay, so the favorite that I have for the new SDK is the modularization, where we have set up our SDK to be able to pick and choose. So we have a scalable architecture. So that is the part that I like, and that relates to the modularization. And the most important, I would take the last 4 minutes, is all about the bring your own data. So what does this mean for a bring your own data? We have say for example, let's take the use case of a transport and logistics customer, where most of them were, always asking for, most of them in this participants are favoring that. So you have a yard map, or you have a private map, private yard, so you want, it's not there as a part of HERE standard database. It is obvious because that is specific to your, company. So what makes it easier with our new SDK is that you can bring this map data, or you can bring this information. You can use the tools that is available in our workspace and add this yard or this private map as an extension map, which means the SDK will be able to consume the information from the standard data as well as from the extension map. This is a possibility in the Navigate SDK. We are in the alpha stage, but we are in the alpha stage, but we will get, so as we are now receiving more and more requests, we are defining the use cases and we are incrementally updating our feature set for that. So this is one advantage. The other advantage is that you can switch over to a custom backend. Say, for example, this is for self-hosting. So if any of your partners are, favoring the self-hosted SDK, so this is possible from Q4. You can test this. We have a alpha release already available end of this September, which means you can, through the configuration API of SDK, instead of the standard HERE backend, you can override that to switch to your custom backend and use the SDK as an offline SDK so that the data doesn't go out. So that is how the self-hosted SDK is designed.
I think that might be very interesting to a few of our customers today. I think that's a very, very specific and a very unique feature. I mean, awesome. And I was just thinking about the own yards and looking at the ports, because many people don't know that ports and the big ones, there are private property, that they're not belonging to the public. So, and those who drive trucks, and my granddad did so. So my grandfather, he was always complaining when he had to go to Rotterdam, because he said, oh, it's a nightmare navigate through because you never know where to go. And you had the paper maps at a time, and then you have your slots, and it's getting also complicated, and you need to be some more time efficient. And by implementing these individual maps and also having the loading docks implemented, which is a huge improvement and in efficiency, I mean, you can take all the advantages within in this SDK, right? So I mean,
yes,
you're ready to really save some serious costs. that is yes. Really good.
Okay, so we actually got 3 more questions in the meantime. I don't know if we have time to answer them now. Rajesh,
I think we can do one more. Yeah.
One more, yeah. Let's do one more.
So let's do one more, and the other 2 we will provide you with a follow-up email and answer your questions, so don't worry. So the last question for today is it possible to have an insight into the roadmap? Because this would help the integrator.
Yeah, we would be able to provide that to MBA. So currently we are doing a realignment exercise, so we would be able to provide a more realistic roadmap for 2023. I guess like 2022 doesn't make sense at this point in time because it's already Q4. So for 2023 we would be sharing the roadmap. Please give us time until end of October, where we will finish all our business planning and realignment and dependency management, and we will be sharing that with you by end of October.
Okay,
I note that down, Rajesh. I'm gonna ping you.
Yeah, sure, yes.
So, Rajesh, thank you very much for taking the time to answer all those questions. And as mentioned, we will answer the ones that are open right now in a follow-up email. And if you have any additional questions or any should come up after we conclude the session, please don't hesitate to contact us. You have our contact details. And yeah, so before we are reaching the end of today's webinar, I would once again like to mention that we will share the slides and the recording with you in the follow-up email tomorrow. And we hope that we were able to give you some interesting insights into the HERE SDK. So thank you very much to Karina and Rajesh, and of course to all of you for taking the time to attend. And we would really appreciate it if you could provide some feedback in the feedback survey right after the webinar closes. so we can improve the webinars further for the future. And if you don't have time now, you can also do that in the follow-up email. So thank you all in advance and have a great rest of the day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.